waiting again.
Does he want to play?
Yeah, let's see. Guys, I'm just waiting for YouTube. And that's why I wait exactly, just to make sure it's actually working.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, I'm waiting again. Yay, it's working now. Yeah.
It's woken up.
So, hello everyone. Welcome to episode 46. We've been away for a little bit. I mean, if you follow us like week by week, you probably kind of realize that we haven't been here for a bit. I went to Austria for a bit. We did some episodes there.
Yeah.
Then I went to Brazil and I came back the day before yesterday. And so yesterday I had a day off, but we're back, which is good. And Amanda's here again as well. And today we had, as usual, our little chat before we come in. Actually, just before I go into that as well, I realized last time there was someone that was actually live with us and they say hi and everything on the thing, but we haven't seen, I haven't seen as well. Just the live thing as well. So if you did say hi on the last time, I saw it afterwards. Do you see? And if you do watch this, you know what I mean, I don't know the recording or the live as well. Usually I don't see all the comments and everything. So the best thing is just comment under the video itself, not on the live chat and everything. And then we come back to you afterwards as well. So just a quick like bracket there. And so we had a little chat as well. I shared a little bit of what happened in Brazil, which was awesome as well. I went to this big conference. And then today's, topic is basically we're going to talk about, how, the universe knows itself. It knows, even though it may sound a bit weird, may painful, or why am I meeting this person, or why things are happening this way? Everything happens for a good reason and for good, basically. And that's what we're going to talk today.
Oh, I love that. Well, morning. If someone's here, lovely to have you with us, or whether you're watching during recording, it's wonderful to have you here. And yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because you were just having a little chat, and I'd written some little notes about some rough ideas of things we could talk about. And I love the synchronicity, how it always lines up. And I think we're both saying. There's some things going on, there's some clearings, but then there seems to be some amazing things coming in. And I think the thing I was sort of wrote down was just saying that, everything that happens is always for our greatest good. And even if we can say, even if our ego or mind might say, I don't like that, it's okay to say you might not like it. That's okay as well. But it's life saying, this thing's happening externally for your greatest good. And I love the idea that we say, I've got absolute faith in life that everything that's happening is for my greatest good. And even if it brings whatever that brings up for you, an anxiety or excitement or an anger, whatever emotion it brings up, you're able to say, well, I can just be with that, I can sit with that. So whatever's happening, if it's bringing up something painful, well, that's beautiful, because it's clearing something that's ready to be healed. And then whatever gets cleared out of us, we can then fill that back up. So, even if it's anger, we can say, oh, actually, once I've gone through the anger and the sadness, I feel excited. Or even if there's a big loss in our life, or a clearing, or a change, or there's a letting go, maybe people are going from your life. Once you've felt the sadness, whatever comes up, you can say, actually, what's coming here is excitement, because I'm starting to understand life is never a punishment. Nothing's ever happening to punish me. So everything that's happening is here to support me, encourage my greatest well-being and consciousness. And then once we've allowed ourselves to be with whatever life's bringing up, and you've both been sharing a lot about what's been going on, there's the good things, and then the things that our mind will say, oh, I don't know, because that might hurt that person, or I don't want to upset that person. Then we can say, well, that just means we're really caring people, and if this togetherness is our highest good, we will continue together. But if as being apart or not doing something together, then that's obviously the greatest good. And sometimes we think our absence can actually be the most powerful thing for somebody, because perhaps we're, I don't know, overdoing or overly responsible, or not even enabling. But when we feel the urge to say, I think it's time to set that person free, that person may be scared, but then they might say, well, actually, this has given me the confidence, the sense of power to do what I need to do. So even if a fear comes up with anything, isn't it beautiful that life's saying, you know what, we've got absolute faith in you. So it might be scary, it might be new, it might be challenging, it might be painful, but we know you're ready, and we know you're ready to go to that next level of consciousness, well-being, freedom, and everything we talk about. It is that emotional freedom, isn't it? To sort of be centered and grounded in who we really are and the divinity of life and source of life. But say, you're also here now to just beautifully unravel, untangle any ideas, beliefs we've taken on, beautifully allow them to be dissolved, and bring in the new, what is serving us, that we're free and we're loving and we're prosperous and that we're abundant and that we're joyful and it's bliss, and we're meant to do things that fill us with passion. And discernment is not judgment. So the mind takes discernment as a judgment. I don't like that, I feel bad, I'm hurting that person. You're not. If something isn't matching your passion or your highest good or your who you are, it's okay to say, I don't think we're a match. And it's not making that other person wrong. I might like lemon ice cream, you might like chocolate. That's it. But when the mind gets hold of it, it could create a sort of, I feel bad because that ice cream might think I'm judging it, and we're not.
And I feel like, Amanda, I think this is it's beautiful as well again. And sometimes like we are a match for a certain period of time. Like, let's say if we want to go to, I don't know, we're going the same direction. We want to go to, I don't know, we're going to Birmingham together, but then from Birmingham, someone wants to go to Newcastle and someone wants to go to Nottingham. And
Absolutely.
now we're not in a match anymore. As you said, we've been in a match all the way, from London to Birmingham, and it felt like an amazing journey and everything. And now forcing one of them to go like, no, we get to go to Newcastle. No, you get to go to, Manchester, because that's where, I'm meant to be. And then you're meant to be with me and everything else. That's where we kind of,
Yeah.
it's just that understanding that we might, have like a place where, oh, well, I like, vanilla ice cream, and we like vanilla ice cream as a common ground. But when it comes to the next flavor, it's like, I like lemon and you like chocolate. Just,
Yeah.
that's
And
fine.
I love that, Junior. That's absolutely perfect for what we're talking about, isn't it? We're saying that, and someone might say, but I want to stay in Birmingham. I love it here.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, okay, but I feel really drawn to now go to Europe or America or
Mhm.
Australia. I feel a really calling. And isn't that beautiful that whatever that brings up, so if it might bring up some fears of, oh God, but we've been together all this time and I'm scared without you. And we go, I know, but that's when we're able to say, hang on, maybe this is a deeper confirmation that my security, my love, my wholeness, my support comes from within. And life will always send me that externally. And that doesn't make anyone sound cold or callous. It's just maybe this is a reminder that if my sense of security and wholeness and love is in that person or that situation, I think it's a good thing that life's maybe nudging us both out of that, because we're going to stay stuck in that. And that's more fear, isn't it? Rather than, I've got such faith in everything and who we are, that even if it does bring up a little bit of fear or even abandonment or rejection, those deeper, more painful feelings, Isn't that wonderful that life's allowing us to heal those and talk to those?
I love that you just brought that up, because it was coming to my mind as well. The same with like what we label sometimes from our mind, negative feelings. They're nothing more than just, and like a awareness that's coming. Like as we always say, pain is the thing that brings us the most awareness for what needs attention to be looked at as well. So the example that came is like, and I bring this up quite a few times, like when my parents divorced, and when they separate, it is a painful situation for all of us, for the kids, for the parents, and so on.
Yeah.
But looking back now, for example, it's been almost 15 years that they've been away.
Yeah.
How painful would that be for them to stay where they were? My dad lives in a small town, in a countryside in the middle of Brazil, in the hottest place possible, I'd say. And he's the happiest person there, and he got married and everything else. My mom lives in New York. She loves, the business and everything else, and forcing them to stay, even in a kind of midway ground, it wouldn't be them. Do you see what I mean? Like kind of a halfway city, a halfway happy. And do you see what I mean? Or like putting my mom into the middle of nowhere in Brazil, or putting my dad in the middle of New York, it wouldn't make that, happy at all for neither of them in that sense.
And could you imagine what their lives would be now if they clung on and said, "No, no, I'm going to accept what you say is
Yeah.
what I'm going to just and saying." And I think it comes back to this thing of the mind, isn't it? So if I think I don't like something, or it's not a match to where I am, the mind will say, "I'm judging that and I'm making them wrong." And it's not. It's okay to say, "I don't think I'm a match for this." That the love doesn't go, and I think that's what can confuse our mind. Then we think it's okay to act out on that dislike, or well, you've made me dislike you and I want us to be in harmony, and we can't be because you're not a match for me, so I'm annoyed with you because you're not matching me. We're meant to be a match, and why aren't you? And it's something, it's okay to say, this moment isn't discernment. I don't think we're in the same place, same page, or and actually it's kind of my calling to go to Australia. So, but I've got faith in you. You're going to be fine in Birmingham. I'm not abandoning you, rejecting you. It's not for any, I'm not, it's not because you're bad I'm going. It's because I think you need to be in Birmingham for a bit.
Yeah.
And I'll always love you. And the mind can kind of say, well, if we're not together, you don't love me. And I think life's always encouraging us, isn't it, to go deeper. What's the deeper part of this? I know you had some revelations, didn't you, this week, of just ideas in your head that your brain kind of said, oh, I'm not sure about that one, but your heart and your intuition and your higher self said, yeah, that's your truth. And,
It can be, and it can be quite counterintuitive, I would say, sometimes the ideas that come to your mind. And like, I'll share a little bit of what, came up in Brazil, where I was there and everything. There's this idea that came up, for example, which is connecting a bit more with the Brazilian market and with the people there and everything. And if you know a little bit of my story, and if you don't know, I'll just like, I work as a business coach for about 6 years, mostly in the UK. I did tap a little bit into the Brazilian market online for a while, but then it came this counterintuitive idea of like teaching people how to work more and earn less. And I was like, what the hell is
yeah.
this? You see what I mean? Who
Yeah.
wants to work more and earn less in that sense? The idea was like, okay, look at this part of your life, because I used to work in a bank in Brazil, earn considerably well to Brazil and everything else. I decided to leave everything and start all over in the UK, learning a new language, starting from working as a bartender and everything. And yes, I was working more hours and earning less than I used to in that sense.
Yeah.
But I was in the right place. I knew it was my path. It was my path in that sense. And now even like focusing a little bit more like in Brazil, it doesn't sound intuitive as well, because of the currency exchange and everything is 5 times less than in the UK. There will be some work, but it feels like the right step as well. So it may sound counterintuitive of like, oh, my heart is asking me to leave that job, to be uncertain of what's going to come up. Do you see in that sense? And it's just understanding, or my heart is asking to leave this relationship, which I've been into for so many years or for so long.
Yeah.
And it's actually, at the end of the day, it's kind of bringing yourself back to what we usually say, who you are, where you don't need to, I don't need that person next to me to make me feel good, for me to make me, I don't need to earn that amount of money to make me feel, myself and who I really are, who I really am in that sense. So
I love that, Jean. I love how, the authenticity in that, and you sharing the honesty of that, because, the mind, when we sort of overly connected with that exterior of, well, that person makes me feel secure and safe, and we've been together a long time, well, that job brings me money and security and whatever it brings me. But our higher self, life, God knows that for our evolution, our emotional well-being, our emotional freedom, our conscious evolution, life's going to constantly change, and we need change to happen. Change helps us to evolve, and the ego struggles with change a little bit. And that's where the bravery and the courage comes in. And if you're trying to just be brave and courageous just from the mind, I think that's where it's a difficult thing. But when we've got that deeper connection to that stillness, that wholeness, I say God and divinity. Somebody else might say source, life, the universe, my higher self, love. When you're connected to that and living from that, even if the stuff outside is going, wow, that's scary. It shocked me. I didn't expect that to happen. Because sometimes life will do it for us. Because I've had things where I'll go, that was a shock. And then you go, oh, actually, it wasn't, was it? The signs were there. I was in denial. I didn't want to see it. I was tripping along, fulfilling a role, maybe, and roles can keep us stuck. When you've been fulfilling a role or somebody else has been fulfilling a role, life will go, right, come on, let's crack on now. We're just going to do some stuff, because she's got a stick sticking out the top of her head. She's putting a hat on it. She's not looking at it. Let's whip that hat off, and we need to pull that stick out, because let's get on, and life will do it for us. And it's when that tapping into that stillness and who we really are, and also the good things in life as well, because sometimes we can say, well, this thing in my life's really great, so I've got to hold on to that. And when we know things change, so what was once really great, if it's not allowed to evolve, well, won't be great anymore. And that's when we say we have to let things outside of us constantly evolve and change and move with it. And it is going to bring up things.
you know how much I like analogies and stuff. Maybe another one, like, imagine, it's going to be a bit dark, the analogy I'm going to bring up, but imagine someone that you love, they already, died, and you try to hold on to the body of the person. It's not going to be good to you. Do you see what I mean? Or even like if it's a pet, for example, it's been, part of your life and everything else. And if it's gone, it's not going to be good for neither. Do you see? You get to let go of that, so it can actually transform. It can become the next thing as well, and you can become the next thing.
Yeah.
So holding on to this relationship can become toxic. Like, someone that you love, they actually help and support you and everything. If they passed away, it will be toxic in that sense. Yeah.
And I think on a deeper level, I mean, God, that's like the film Psycho, isn't it? When he's so attached to his mum, he has his stuff, doesn't he? And put in a chair and wears her clothes. I mean, gosh, that was but I think it is that, isn't it? When we're able to say, God, even when somebody passes, and this is why I've been quite gentle saying this sometimes to people in my life. I've had huge losses in my life, but I look back and I think, yeah, I wouldn't have consciously chosen that, but the growth, the healings that person's passing has not only brought to me, but the people around me, is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Would I have consciously chosen it? No. But my ego, I've learned to say, I don't think my ego is always my best go-to. Life seems to know and love me in a way. It knows what's best for me. So I think I'm going to have the faith there that it kind of knows what it's doing, because it seems to work out. And even if there's people in our lives around us that might not like the change, because sometimes we have to say no, don't we? Sometimes we have to say, you know, I don't think we're a match, and I can't say that I can't agree, and that's just a discernment. I'm not making anybody wrong, so I'm going to allow you. And that's what I think you've talked about this, like something we talked about when we didn't do the alchemy chat. It's that I've got such trust and faith in who you are that you don't need me. And I don't need anyone to need me, because that's not good. So I'm going to take myself out of this for you to discover the amazingness that you are.
Absolutely. And I was talking to a friend as well, just going to bring another, example of this. Is like, he was in this toxic relationship again, and it's easy for, for the victim taking, and I've been there as well. Do you see what I mean? Where like I was in an abusive relationship and so on, but until one of the parts, I mean, for the victim to exist, the abusive person has to be there, but the opposite is also true. For the abuse to happen, the victim has to be there. But
Absolutely.
once when one of them comes out, then both of them can be themselves. And then, of course, they can choose to be a victim in a different situation, or they can choose to be the abusive person on their next situation as well. But then that, you gave the chance for the abuse to stop when you come out, or when you choose that different situation. It may be painful because there will be, it might be love, and might be, a toxic love and everything else, but that unconditional love will be there regardless if you're together or not,
Yeah.
in that sense.
And that's because that's the bit that we're saying, if our mind gets hold of something, it say, well, I can only love what I like.
Yeah.
I really love if you're giving something positive to me. And that's when I think we spiritually and emotionally, mentally mature, isn't it? Because we're able to say that is very much like a child, isn't it? And we're able to sort of heal that child and say, do you know, I'm my source of love, and life's my source of love. And when I know that, life will bring me experiences of that externally. And then we start to understand what healthy love is. And you know, I have people that you know, people are in different relationships, aren't they? And there's healings and clearings, and sometimes a victim, or they can, or whatever is happening, if it's toxic, maybe they mature and grow together to release the toxicity, release the conditioning, so they can become a healthy, loving relationship together. That's more the unusual at the minute. And I think if you go into a relationship saying it's really toxic and awful at times, but we're gonna we're gonna heal this and become healthy, I think it's important to say, if that's what's happening and it's more toxic, it can be the loving times. By creating that space, you can heal whatever patterns are going on in you that's either allowing yourself to be the victim or the perpetrator. And I think it switches. I think in relationships, we're not always the victim and some's the perpetrator. It does swap. And I think sometimes it's easy to think, oh, we're the victim. But it's having that knowledge of, yeah, there's obviously stuff we both need to heal here. And it's more unusual that you heal it together. And it may be that you go apart and you heal and you come back together again. But it's always about, isn't it, that how am I on the inside? How am I aligned? Am I in that loving? It's that peaceful resolution that we talk about when we say, I can forgive myself because whatever I've done, I've forgotten. I'm that divinity. You're that divinity. If ever someone's cruel, abusive, unkind, mean, rejecting, we know it's coming from someone's mind that's forgotten who they are and who we are and who we come from. And it's when we tap into that deeper aspect, isn't it, that it just allows that mind to heal and say, it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just, yeah, I won't add anything to it, because I feel, yeah, it's just about, again, that unconditional love is, it will allow that healing to happen. It's not about, and some, well, one part of that equation may be like not understanding and everything else. And that's part of the whole process as well, part of the healing in there as well.
Yeah, but have that faith that you're not on your own. You're very loved. No matter what's happened, when you go from the heart, no one's actually done anything wrong. It's just we've forgotten who we were, and that made us act out. And there's all that love never goes. No matter if someone leaves us through death or leaves us through choice or a situation, that love is always there. But it's all the things you and I have talked about, tapping into it, using your breathing, grounding into it, taking care of whatever's coming up, and then constantly reconnecting and just trusting and riding that wave that you know is taking you somewhere even more amazing.
Awesome. Awesome. I think we can end there for everyone. So if you are going through this, situation, if you want to share a little bit with us as well, just let us know in the comment. If there's something that we said here that actually, oh wow, that really connects with me, really, makes sense to me, let us know in the comments. If there's something that you don't agree, you guys spoke bullshit or something, just let us know as well. It'll be awesome. If you can hit that like button, you'll help other people to actually find this video as well. And if you haven't subscribed and you want to maybe get this kind of conversations and be up to date when we putting a new live video live as well, just subscribe, and then I'll see you guys on the next one.
Lots of love. Bye for
Thank you
now.
so much for today. Take care. Bye.
Bye bye.